Maine Secretary of State could issue a decision as soon as today that could keep former President Donald Trump off the state's Republican primary ballot. Shenna Bellows is weighing three separate complaints that challenge Trump's eligibility, and two are based on the same section of the Constitution that Colorado's Supreme Court cited in its decision to leave Trump off the ballot. They say he violated the 14th Amendment of the Constitution by engaging in an insurrection on January 6. Now, the Colorado Republican Party is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn a ruling from the state's high court. The justices determined Donald Trump is ineligible to be on the ballot there. Trump's legal team says it intends to file its own appeal, but for now, Trump will remain on the ballot under the terms of that decision. Now, there are some similar challenges which are pending or have been heard in multiple states. In a social media post, Trump called the legal challenges a pathetic gambit to rig the election. Now, some of the cases against Trump have already been dismissed. Legal analysts tell CBS News these cases are setting the stage for the U.S. Supreme Court to intervene and make a decision next year. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson joins us now to chat more about this. Hey, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
Okay, so Jessica, let's first discuss what's happening in Maine. Can you explain how that state's challenge is different than the others submitted across the country?
Yes, one thing that we're learning is that election laws vary state by state. This is one of the things I talk to my students about, which is we think that when it comes to national elections, there's a national standard. That's actually not true. So in Maine, it's the Secretary of State who has the discretion to determine who is eligible for the ballot. And that's why she actually heard arguments about eligibility. And that's why these challenges went to her, because she's going to be the one to make the at least initial assessment as to whether or not former President Trump can appear on that state's primary election ballot.
So can Trump appeal this one?
He can appeal, and he can appeal in the first instance to the state court. So he can appeal to the Maine State Appellate Court. And that, for a lot of people who are following along at home, will look like what happened in Colorado, except in Colorado, instead of the Secretary of State making the first decision, it was actually a court who heard arguments, and then the trial court issued its decision, and then it worked its way up through the state court. And now, as you said, all pending before the U.S. Supreme Court.
All right, so on to what's happening in Colorado. The state's Republican Party has asked the Supreme Court to overturn that ruling. We haven't heard anything from Trump's legal team. So what might be causing this delay?
So it could be that he wanted to see what the GOP was going to argue in their brief. It could be because a delay is always better for the former president when it comes to all of these legal cases. It could be because, based on the language of the stay in the Colorado case, any appeal, as I read it, basically pauses that decision. So there's no particular rush for him. We know that in a number of instances when the Trump team has said, we're about to appeal, we're going to appeal immediately, those appeals don't always come until the last moment.
So we've already seen, Jessica, two very different decisions come out of Colorado and then Michigan. So how many challenges do we really need to see before the Supreme Court would intervene here?
Well, and as we talked about yesterday, in the Michigan case, it was based on entirely different grounds. It was procedural grounds of the court felt that they couldn't hear that challenge. They didn't even rule on the substance. So how many more do we need? I would say we have enough. We need from the U.S. Supreme Court guidance about what the federal Constitution says. They're the last word on the federal Constitution. They're the only ones that can provide the ultimate word on that. And so all of this, I think, at least before the general, is screaming out for the Supreme Court to say, here's who is disqualified under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, and here's who is not.
An important story to keep an eye on. Jessica, thanks so much.
Thank you.